Welcome, everyone, to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance, Tommy Krysan here with you on this Friday morning edition of Sports Shorts Daily. A spicy one from the standpoint of the NFL draft was last night, the first round at least. We'll talk about that. Some giant news. The Saints surprised people with who they picked. It wasn't the most popular pick with the fans. And, of course, no Shador Sanders drafted in the first round. Shocking. A guy that was maybe the first pick overall. For sure, he was going to go to the Saints at 9. And then to not even be drafted in the first round is incredible. We'll talk about that. The LSU Tigers Giants series starting tonight against Tennessee, 6:30. That game, of course, will be on the ESPN Plus app. Lynn Rollins and I will be on the call. Big game against the Tennessee Vols. Both teams have the same exact record in the SEC, 12-6. Whoever wins this series is going to come out of it thinking, I'm a top 8 national seed. I'm feeling super confident. I'm a national championship, type team. That's what this series means to the winner of the Tennessee LSU series this weekend. And then after the conclusion of this series, there'll only be 9 games left in the Southeastern Conference regular season. Baton Rouge Rougarou season right around the corner. We still have a couple of golf teams available. If you love golf, want to come out, we got our Celebrity Golf Classic on Tuesday, April 29th at the at the Island in Plaquemine, Louisiana. Great golf course. Chris Burkstaller and the gang do an awesome job. We're going to have Garrett Nussmeyer out there playing in the golf tournament. We have Coach McMahon from LSU basketball, John Brady, Rohan Davey, Blair Barbier, former Major Leaguer Will Harris, the Cajun Ninja chef on social media from South Louisiana does an awesome job. Lots of great celebs are going to be out there. Come join us. And you can sign up for an individual spot if you want. It's go to brrougarou.com, brrougarou.com. TK, New Orleans Saints last night. You're over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Give me your takeaway on the New Orleans Saints offensive line pick.
I like the pick. It was one of many positions of need. So I'm okay with the pick. I like it. On paper, it looks good. He's got some accolades. You talked about an ankle injury that he had, but I think it's a good pick. Time will tell. We'll got to let it play out, as we like to say here on Sports Shorts Daily. But I think it's a good pick. The paperwork, the resume, 6'5", 315 pounds. That's like a standard size for a tackle right now in the NFL. So I think it was a good pick. I'm not going to say great. Many of the media guys in New Orleans and girls, when they were all asked who they might pick, many of them said Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive lineman from Texas. And that's what it ended up being. And we'll see how it plays out. That's all we can do. But I like the pick.
The thing about if you take an offensive lineman early in the draft, top 10 offensive lineman, generally, obviously injuries can always, get anybody. It doesn't matter how good you are, what position you play, but generally those guys give you value, right? They generally play a lot. They're on the field. They're playing as a rookie. They're giving you many years, at least, of high level football. So it is a safe pick, not a sexy pick. Clearly, the New Orleans Saints didn't feel like their quarterback of the future was in this draft, worthy of being only the first quarterback taken in the first round since 1971 by the Saints when it was Archie Manning. That's an amazing statistic. And again, a safe pick, you can't ever have enough offensive linemen. Just ask the Cincinnati Bengals, right? You cannot have enough offensive linemen with Ramczyk retiring. It adds more depth there and potentially could, be a Pro Bowl type player. You're talking about Banks being an Outland Trophy winner. He was tied with an award with Will Campbell as the best offensive tackle. He only gave up 4 sacks and 15, 16, 1,700 tries or something like that in his career. So on paper, it's a nice pick. Plus, I guess it makes Derek Carr happy, Tommy, and you might as well make him happy. You gave him $40 million. He's going to be your quarterback this year. It didn't really matter who they drafted. He was going to be your quarterback this year. So, hey, you got a quarterback in Derek Carr that when healthy, he's probably the 15th best quarterback in the NFL. And now you've got depth on the offensive line to help make that happen, help Alvin Kamara get some space. So I don't hate the pick. We kind of thought it might be some other things. Of course, anytime in the first round, you're not dreaming of an offensive lineman usually. You're dreaming of some electric, dynamic pass rusher or wide receiver or quarterback. They went offensive line. But what's surprising is is that Travis Hunter went second overall. Cam Ward, by the way, went first overall, the quarterback out of Miami. But Travis Hunter went second overall, the Jaguars. You could tell he was at his press conference when the Saints picked ninth. He was talking to the media. He paused the press conference, said, hang on, I want to watch this pick. And then, of course, the Saints took Banks, and he said, well, I was hoping that Sanders would go here. So, like, the fact that Shedeur Sanders did not get drafted in the first round, Tommy, is one of the biggest surprises in draft history, because I think for sure people expected him to be drafted in the first round, and then when the Giants traded up into the first round in the late 20s, and they thought, okay, here he go, and they took Jackson Dart. So wow, it was a wild ride, and you're either, it's going to be interesting to see what happens today. Saints pick 40th, Tommy. Can Shedeur Sanders be there at 40th, and would they make that pick?
Well, that's the story of the draft was Shedeur Sanders, whether you like it or not, or you agree with it or not. I mean, and that's just the way it goes. That was the thing. The other part of last night was all about the line of scrimmage. The offensive lineman, including Will Campbell, fourth pick to the Patriots, only the second LSU offensive lineman. That would be a first-round draft choice. He joins Alan Banico on that short list. And then the edge rushers, Carter from Penn State, and the guys from Georgia and Texas. I mean, it was all about the line of scrimmage. You got to protect the quarterback, and then you got to get to the quarterback when you're on defense. And that kind of, to me, was the theme of the draft last night of, the line of scrimmage. That's where it starts, and then we go from there. I really think that Shedeur Sanders would fit in really well with the Lafayette Roughnecks. I mean, I think he could succeed in the Arena 2 league.
Right.
You and I both worked in that league. You worked with the Roughnecks in the Blaze. So did I. We all that. He'd be a good fit right there.
It's got this reminds me of Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers did not fall out of the first round. We all know that he got drafted in the 20-something pick, and he went to Green Bay, and he sat for a couple years behind Favre. But Aaron Rodgers was a guy that could have easily been a top 5 pick. Everybody expected him to be. And then he falls all the way, and multiple quarterbacks were drafted in front of him. And, of course, he proved them all wrong, had a Hall of Fame career and all that. That drafting quarterbacks is very difficult. And what I mean by that is everyone over projects because everybody takes a quarterback hoping and that this is the next Hall of Famer, this is the next Pro Bowler, this is the quarterback for the next 10 years for our franchise. And it's even with all the data, even with all the scouting, even with all the interviewing and blah, 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 it's still a crapshoot. I mean, there's still plenty of quarterbacks that get taken and they don't work out. And then guys that the guys that they don't think are going to work out end up working out. It happens all the time. And I am of the belief that for all the antics that come with the Sanders name, with all the arrogance and the showboating, that his dad did during his Hall of Fame career, and it irritated the get off the lawn, crew, which now is Tommy and I. We now look at Deion Sanders and we're not offended by Deion Sanders, right? Like at this age in 2025, we look at his antics of how he played in the 80s and 90s and all the showboating, and we're not offended by it because we see that all the time. Other people do it. They all imitated him. But we all look back and go, he was arguably the greatest cornerback of all time. If not, he's in that conversation. Shedeur Sanders, I think, also gets a bad rap because of his dad and because he's got his own antics, right? He's wearing the jewelry. He's got millions of dollars. He's flashing the watch and doing that, and which, by the way, everyone imitates. Every high school kid now does. And we feel like it's just maybe too much. And I got to believe, honestly, beyond the physical, I think the antics obviously has cost him. I think that I just don't know that I want to deal with the Sanders stuff. And Joel, to his credit, and I hate to say this, and I'll have to bring it up on the air tomorrow with Joel Davis on Sports Shorts Radio at 10:30 when he comes on. But Joel was right. I mean, do I have to say that, Tommy? Joel was right.
And Joel and I were on that same side. You and Hunter on the other side. And here's the thing, right? Marcus Spears yesterday morning on the Dan Patrick Show said, in his opinion, Sanders should go to a team in the third or fourth round and that has a quarterback situation under control. The quarterback room's good, and then he can learn and develop for a couple of years, kind of like Aaron Rodgers did, and many other guys did. Brett Favre sat the bench for a while when he first got in the league, and then develop and get better. He's got skills, he's got talent, and then maybe he can get on the field and help a team win. Okay, I mean, so that's Marcus Spears' opinion. I respect him. He's right more than he's wrong, and he knows more about it than you and I do. And again, it's all an opinion thing. I mean, everybody thought Ryan Leaf would be great. He wasn't. Everybody thought Jamarcus Russell would be great. He wasn't. So I mean, it's time will tell, and we got to let it play out. And it's just I think all the other stuff, the NFL doesn't care who his college coach was, even though it was his dad. They care if he can help them win a football game on a Sunday afternoon. That's all the NFL really cares about. Way down the list is he played for his dad, Dion. Dion was great, this, that, and the other. They're getting paid to put 53 guys in a uniform that can help them win on Sunday. And obviously, at this point, nobody thought he was worthy of a first-round pick. Carl Dunn chimes in. He's the first player to ever have his jersey retired, not go in the first round. The jersey retirement thing is the most laughable thing in college football history. And here's the thing, Ryan. I'm going to put this on you. You don't know this is coming. Darian Hagan won the national championship at Colorado. His record was 28-5 as a player at Colorado. Cordell Stewart from John Ehret High School in the West Bank of New Orleans, like 27-5-2 at Colorado as a quarterback. Neither one of those jerseys are retired. Sanders is 13-11, didn't win a bowl game, and they retired his jersey. I mean, that's what I think that turns a lot of people off. I mean, it's ridiculous that they retired it, and they did it at the spring game when there were 12,000 people in the stand. Why wouldn't you retire it when he's got the week off in the NFL schedule where you can have a big crowd? Because it's all a marketing. It's Britney Spears from the music world, the marketing machine, who can't sing a lick but made billions of dollars. He can't play football in the NFL, but he's made millions. He's got more money than you and I'll ever have. But it's the reality is he can't play football in the NFL.
Well, I'm gonna eat crow right now, and I'll be fine. I'll eat that humble pie. And I was wrong. I thought he'd for sure go in the first round, but I am not done on Shedeur Sanders. This guy, went to Colorado, the worst program in college football, the most irrelevant program in Colorado. What 5'4", 3-star athlete in today, 2023, 2024, wants to go to Boulder, Colorado? Most couldn't find it on a map. Most don't have a map, and figure out where the heck it is. They don't even know who Mork and Mindy is, which is what Boulder, Colorado was known for a long time. And he took this 1-win program and had them winning 9 games and a bowl game and ranked and all these things. So I give him credit for that more than nitpicking this, that, and the other. Oh, he didn't win enough games or whatever. Yeah, he wasn't on good teams. The Colorado's not a great program. It's not a great. They're making chicken salad out of what. And so I give him credit for getting sacked a million times and getting up and playing hurt and just slinging it. And all these comeback victories and the toughness that he showed throughout his 4 years in college. I think I think he's a dude, and I think eventually he will show that he's a dude. And probably, Tommy, in a parental kind of way, a little humble pie probably ain't a bad thing right here, right? I mean, looking back on it years from now, it may be the motivation that he needs to be a little bit more humble and a little bit more motivated even. He's going to have to earn it more. And I never wanted the Saints to draft him with the 9th pick and make him the starting quarterback week 1. They got Carr on the contract for this year. I wanted them to take a quarterback, let him sit for a year behind a veteran quarterback and learn and then play. I would have loved for Spencer Rattler to not have played a lick last year, and unfortunately Carr, ended up getting hurt and he had to play, because what it does is it it's like popping a bottle of wine before it's time. There's probably zero chance. Peyton Manning was awful, threw more interceptions than anyone his rookie year in the NFL. And so there's value in sitting a year or two, and no matter who you are. And so I would have liked to have seen that, and I hope to see that, because I hope the Saints take a quarterback, and have another option to bring the camp to battle for the future. So anyway, today will be interesting. Congratulations to Will Campbell. That's an awesome deal for him to go fourth overall. Brian Kelly and a bunch of staff were there celebrating with him in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Look for Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier, UFC fighter in Green Bay, supposed to be making the announcement for one of the Saints draft picks in the draft, potentially also making an announcement about the UFC fight, potentially coming to New Orleans July 19th for him to fight for the last time ever in the octagon. LSU baseball, you'll be there tonight.
Yeah, I'll be out there tonight taking the grandson to the game. He's all fired up, 15 years old, loves baseball, plays at St. Paul's in Covington, and really looking forward to that. But it's a big, big series for both LSU and Tennessee, as you touched on. Both 12-6 in league play, and we're, May's right around the corner. Next week we're into May, so that's when college baseball separates the men from the boys. So it's going to be a big, big series. Should be okay weather-wise. I was looking at that this morning. Anderson will go. LSU announced Anderson Iverson to be announced for the Sunday starter. Tennessee did the same thing. They're worried about tonight. This is going to be a huge game, one of the top games in the league, in the country tonight on a Friday night. That Alec Box should be a big crowd. They're honoring some former tomorrow night, the 2000 national champs, tonight the 50-year anniversary of the 75 SEC championship team. So there's going to be a lot of stuff out at the box, and most importantly, a heck of a baseball game between two of the best teams in the country. LSU beat Tennessee twice in Omaha when they won the national title a couple of years ago. So there's stories here. The whole thing with the way they treated Maneri in its last year, it's a lot of stories off the field, but on the field there's major league talent up and down both lineups tonight. I can't wait to be at the box tonight.
Yeah, Skip Bertman also signing autographs between 5 and 7, signing his books between 5 and 7 outside the Skip Bertman statue outside the stadium on Saturday. Tommy, I'll tell you one quick story.
I got one. Go ahead, and I got one.
1975 team that's being honored tonight, 50th anniversary of that squad. So that means those guys are, anywhere from, 68 to 72, 3 years old. Okay. And I remember in 1991, as a freshman at LSU, the 1975 team was honored or something. They brought them on the field or whatever. And I remember thinking, those guys are old, man.
Cool.
And at the time, they were 16 to 22, 3 years older than me. And now I realize, and I mean, I've realized it before this story, but I realize that when these guys look at me, when I'm talking to these 20-year-old players and I'm 32 years older than them, they're looking at me like, boy, that old raisin. You know what I mean? Like, what does he know about baseball? Yeah, when they played baseball back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, it's so funny perspective. So here's what I'm going to say. In 91, I forgot, they also honored, in 91, they also honored the 30-year anniversary of the 1961 LSU baseball team that won the SEC championship that year. LSU won the championship in 61, 75, and then they didn't win it again until Skip got there. And they were 30 years older than me. 30 years, I'm older than that 61 team, and I thought those guys might collapse on the field, when I played there. I thought there was a chance that they might, we might need to have ambulance services to get the 61 team off the field when we honored them with their 30-year anniversary when I played in 1991, and I'm that guy. It's unbelievable.
Right. Two things. One you don't know about. There was a pitcher on the 75 team named Paul Stephan, Stefan. He was my pitching coach at Southeastern one year. Okay, and we all thinking like he was a guy with on an SEC championship team. And then Ronnie, I got to do this. Okay, I get to do it whenever it happens. My first win as a college pitcher came against Tennessee, and they've recovered. Obviously, they've recovered and moved on and won a title last year. But my first win as a college pitcher was against the Volunteers in Hammond many days ago. I get to say it every time they play in baseball. So here I am saying it again. That first W for old TK came against Tennessee.
Well, congratulations. Hopefully you bring the Tigers some good mojo tonight when you're in the stands.
They should let me throw out the first pitch, Ronnie. I mean, come on. Tennessee, would that be like, this guy beat you guys back in the day?
If you throw out the first pitch and I sing the anthem, LSU's got a pretty good chance.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
All right, tell us about your Monties, TK.
Well, they got boiled crawfish, live crawfish. They got Wagyu steaks on sale, $36 a pound. You can't beat that. They got everything you need here on Jefferson Highway, right down the street from Parkview Baptist Church and School. Mike and the staff do a great job. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Stop by, get some lunch today, get crawfish for the weekend, boiled, live, whatever you need. They can handle it for you here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. And, of course, don't forget tomorrow morning the radio moves on the clock a little bit. We'll go 9 to 11 due to the NFL draft. Be in the sports book at ESPN Bet Sportsbook at LeBear's. 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. ESPN Radio, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles. So a little time change tomorrow. Don't forget that. And, of course, not too late. Go to brrugaroo.com. Celebrity Golf Classic is at the Island Golf and Country Club, a great golf course in Plaquemine. It's Tuesday morning. We'll all be out there. Tremonti's will have some sausage for everybody. Celebrity Golf Classic. It's going to be the most fun you can have on a golf course Tuesday morning. We look forward to that. We'll tell you about it. Check social media. I made a bunch of posts about it yesterday. So that's what's going on, right? It's going to be a fun weekend, kind of surrounding LSU, Tennessee, and then you got the draft, you got the Zurich Classic, Jazz Fest in New Orleans. I mean, right, there's plenty to do.
So the Zurich, speaking of the Zurich, the Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry, the defending champs, and of course, they're in what, 8th place? You said, TK?
Yeah, they're back a little bit, but it was an alternate shot format rolls in today. Best ball, yes, the scores are going to be lower in the best ball. Alternate shot, a little bit different. The cream of the crop will rise today down on the West Bank in New Orleans.
Yeah, huge crowds. And of course, first tournament for Rory since he won the Masters 2 weeks ago. Didn't play last weekend, so folks are getting their first look at him, and going to be an awesome event. All the VIP type tickets are sold out for it. You could probably get some general admission passes, but going to be amazing. And of course, Sunday, let's hope that Rory and Shane are in the mix. Funny, they played a practice round Wednesday, and they showed video on hole number 1 of Shane Lowry topping his drive on the very first swing. So Rory steps up, pipes a 3-wood on the hole number 1 at the Zurich, and then Shane Lowry comes up, either at a 3-wood or a driver, and he literally topped it. And then everybody was laughing, and he hit another ball, but he literally hit it like a Tommy Chrysan shot,
Come on.
Tommy, your driver, the other a little bad, Coach.
A couple of holes it was good, a couple of holes it was bad, but we got to go play again. But I'm still better than Hunter McCann and Joel Davis.
Well, Joel, not bad, Coach. I'm telling you, Joel could hang with. It'd be an interesting matchup. All right, for Tommy Chrysan, I'm Ronnie Rance. Tune in tomorrow morning, 9 to 11, special time for Sports Church Radio on ESPN Lake Charles, Lafayette, and Baton Rouge. Until then, please like and share. Have a good one, and go Tigers.